Hello and welcome to Bags of Action. My name is Pete and this is a 5-minute Bags of Action review of Kickboxer Retaliation from 2018. If you've already listened to me talking about Kickboxer Vengeance, you may well be wondering why on earth I have taken the time to watch this sequel. Well, first of all, it popped up on Netflix, so I thought I'd give it a go. And secondly, it's largely due to the addition of two elite strongmen in this movie. Hafthor Bjornsson, who you may know as the Mountain in Game of Thrones, and American former World's Strongest Man, Brian Shaw. Myself and Steve, the other host of the show, are big strongman fans, so it's interesting to see these two guys cast in this movie. The rest of the cast actually feels like it was created by taking the names out of a hat. Christophe Lambert, or Christopher Lambert as some people might know him, Mike Tyson, and footballer Ronaldinho all feature in this film. And it's as strange as that sounds. So the original Kickboxer had 5 sequels, but Kurt Sloan, the lead character, was killed off in the second film, so that when Van Damme left, Sasha Mitchell, formerly from TV soap Dallas, could replace him and take on the role of a third brother called David Sloan. Here that doesn't happen, and Alain Moussi is back as the lead character, and he also took on the fight coordination this time around. And of course, Van Damme does indeed return as trainer Master Durand. There are lots of MMA people in this film, people from UFC, and the fight scenes are really impressive. I also like the way that Kurt killing Tong Po in the first film comes back to haunt him. Essentially, the underground fight world, run by Christophe Lambert's character Thomas Tang Moore, had a winner-stays-on system. So when Kurt beat Tong Po in the first film, he was supposed to stick around as their reigning champion. So here, because of killing Tong Po in the first film, he's taken to prison back in Thailand, where he meets a host of new people who help to train him, alongside Master Durand, played by Jean-Claude Van Damme, who is now blind. This movie has some espionage moments in it, some things that feel that they come from other Van Damme films and may be reminiscent of scenes in Death Warrant, AWOL and even Bloodsport. It also has a very Rocky IV vibe, and that's thanks to the new opponent Mongkut, played by Hafthor Bjornsson. He's essentially created in a lab, and it does remind me quite a lot of Ivan Drago. Kurt's wife ends up being kidnapped here, and that leads to him reluctantly agreeing to take the fight, which could also win him $1 million. And it was bad enough fighting Tong Po, but actually Mongkut, with his huge size, he's 6'10", 400 pounds, looks like an almost impossible opponent. All these changes in the second film moves this away from just being a training and fight movie, and these new elements help broaden its appeal a little bit. Perhaps by casting 2 strongmen and a footballer, they thought the stuntman lead, Alain Moussi, would come across more like a competent actor. But despite his obvious fighting prowess, I would say that Van Damme probably steals the show here again. One thing I did come up with for Kickboxer Retaliation, which I hadn't done for any other movie, was its own drinking game. So if you end up watching it for the first time, this is what I suggest you do. So if any of the random cast do something you might be more familiar with from another movie or from their real life, take a drink. So when Mike Tyson throws a punch, take a drink. When Ronaldinho kicks a football, take a drink. When Hafthor Bjornsson lifts some heavy weights, take a drink. And yes, when Christophe Lambert from Highlander uses a sword, take a drink. This movie throws more things at you than 10 other conventional films put together, and it ends up some kind of hypnotic, glorious mess. I actually found this far more watchable than Kickboxer Vengeance as a result. As I've said, Alain Moussi is a bit wooden, but he can certainly fight. Now, I'd rather watch the original, yes, but there's something about this that kind of works in its own strange way. I paid to watch the first one in this reboot series, I watched this one on Netflix, and I think I may have to stick around for the next one, Kickboxer Armageddon, which I believe is already in production. Once again, no half bags are allowed, so I'm going to give this film 2 bags out of 5. What it does well is it shakes off the shackles of the original Kickboxer franchise. embraces its own absolute ridiculousness, and gives you something fresh and new as a result, albeit totally bonkers. Do stay for the end credit scene. Not only do you see how it sets up the third movie, but also over the credits you'll get the chance to see the new cast dancing as if they're Van Damme in the original movie, although it does serve to remind you of the original movie, which may not be a good thing by comparison. Have you seen Kickboxer Retaliation? If you have, comment below or get in touch with us via email, Facebook or Twitter. And don't forget to like and subscribe.